lust. The reason why we're talking about lust today, man, is because not only do I deal with it, everybody deals with it in different ways. You know, some people watch porn. Some people, uh, when they talk to females, that'd be the main thing they think about. Like, I don't know if you ever paid attention to it, but me last time, like, when I look at a female, you may call her attractive, but why are you calling her attractive though? You know, and a lot of times, I don't say we don't know who we're attracted to, but just off of the looks don't mean that you're attracted to that person. It's just off of what you just seeing something with your eyes and you're like, oh, I like that, you know. But at the end of the day, attraction is something that you know that you something I wouldn't say you desire, but more in the sense of you know what you want. And when you see something and you know what you want, you know it's that or it isn't. But you could see something and it could look attractive, but in reality, is it really attractive or are you lusting? So, with that being said, it's more of like looks can be deceiving because you can have a nice looking person, male or female, whatever you like, and you may think that that's what you like. Not saying it's not, but majority of the time people see people on social media be like, oh, I like her, she's attractive. But the looks can be deceiving means is like she may look good or he may look good, but you don't know their true intentions. And when you don't know somebody's true intentions, how could you be attracted to them in a sense? Because when you're attracted to somebody, you're going off of their energy, you're going off of their spiritual, their mental, and their physical. So it's not just about how they look physically, but how they look mentally and spiritually. Because a lot of times people could look good on the outside, but they're not good on the inside. And they always put on a persona, so you would never know the true how they look for real. And a lot of times, bro, I feel like, even me, I ain't saying like it ain't me, but for me, for my own opinions, is like, it was a time where it was a summer, and I was just like, I was messing with multiple different females, right? And I thought I was like the king of the world. Like, I felt like I was doing what I wanted to do. But then it came to a point where I wasn't with none of the females, and I was just really, I was unhappy with myself. Like, it was like a self-guilt, self-confliction. And I didn't like how I was feeling. Like, I could be talking to a good-looking female, and I still just didn't like how I was feeling because I knew why I was talking to her. Not saying, like, talking to her to use her, but more in the sense of, like, am I talking to her to get to know her, or am I talking to her to have sex with her, you know? And, like, I had to keep it real with myself, but, like, a lot of times I was doing that, and I didn't know what I was doing until I started understanding what lust was. But I feel like a lot of people don't understand what lust is. And lust isn't, I wouldn't say it's not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing. But if you know how to use it, you can use it to your advantage. So, like, when you get that feeling or that, you know that feeling I'm talking about. Instead of doing what you usually do, you can use that feeling in a positive way to do something that you know you need to do. So instead of just going and watching porn or something, when you get that feeling again, I wouldn't say, like, don't be aware. You always want to be aware how you feel. But you can control how you feel as well, too. So if you use it in the right way, it can help you get further in certain things that you're doing. So, like, instead of watching porn, say you went and used that feeling and worked out, you probably have a more intense workout. You probably work out longer, or the workout probably feel even better. But a lot of times, we try to deal with it. We try to deal with lust on our own, but in reality, we can't. You know, it's not going to go away, but you do get better with dealing with it. And the only person that can help you with dealing with it is God. So if you're not right with God, like your relationship with God isn't there, when it comes down to those situations where you may run across a female that may be attractive, it's going to be very difficult for you, you know? And, like, restraining your energy is very important. Like, a lot of people feel like doing after you done, you know what I'm saying? If you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. Not saying that you don't want to do, you want to restrain it, because when you restrain it, you're keeping your energy within yourself. But also when you do that, you creating soul ties with that person you ever having those altercations with. So it's best to not do it. Really supposed to wait to marriage, but I'm not just saying I'm the perfect person, because I done messed up multiple times in my life. But that's why I wanted to come and talk to you guys about it, because like I know how serious it is, and a lot of times people don't understand how serious this is, and it takes your life to a down spiral, bro. Like it could put you into depression, make you not feel like yourself, make you not feel motivated, make you feel like you're losing who you are, and when you work on it, you come out a better person. And now in this new generation, a lot of people, like, they're having sex before they even getting to know who the person is. You know what I'm saying? So like, now I done that myself. Like this girl, I'm not gonna say her name, but this girl from the past, I thought she was very attractive. She was into God, things of that nature. And I thought that like that was the one for me. Not saying she wasn't the one for me, but it's just like what I was going off of what I was seeing, I'm just like, yes, like this is it, And off the rip, she was a good person. And I'm not saying I'm a bad person either, but like the way my mindset was, I wasn't thinking straight. I was thinking lustfully. And it ended up messing up the relationship. So it was just like, having that lustful mindset can ruin good things. But you won't know it's a good thing because you're not even thinking of it being a good thing, because you're already thinking of it being lustful. And a lot of times it results to like negative thinking or negative outputs to people. And nowadays it's like, oh, if I can't have this with you, then how we gonna be that? But in reality, to even be in a relationship, you gotta have a friendship with that person. And like nowadays people think that like friends and benefits is cool, but in reality it's not, because you're really setting yourself up for failure. Because say for instance, say you continue doing what you're doing, right? Then it comes a girl or a man that you genuinely want to see yourself with, and you done did what you done did, but now say that person that you want to genuinely be with want to wait till marriage, right? You're still going to have those thoughts. You're going to still have those feelings. So not saying everybody's going to do it, but including myself, like when you don't get what you want, you tend to like try to go find it in someone else. So if that person that you're seeing yourself with isn't wanting to have sex, but you're still feeling like, and she's not or he is not on that timing, you're gonna go try to find someone that is. And a lot of times when you do, you're literally getting negative energy back to yourself. Like you may feel good in the moment after you done did what you did, but it's not in that moment that you got to worry about. It's after that moment, because you got to live with it. You're going to think about it, So like, I'm not saying that it's going to always be bad, but it's not going to be what you expect it to be afterwards, if you get what I'm saying. So like, in reality, you thinking that you're doing something good for yourself, but you're really hurting yourself. So when it does come time for you to have a significant other, or like settle down with someone and get married, you're messing that up. So like, and a lot of times people, like, there's people all over the world, that want to be married, that want to have kids. And some people that don't want to have kids don't want to be married. And it's not meant for everybody to be married. It's not meant for everybody to have kids. And a lot of times people have kids off of lust. And it's sad, but it's true. Like a lot of times people be having kids off of lust and they don't even think of it, because they just want to get that feeling off, and you got to be able to control that feeling. Because if you can't control that feeling, when it comes down to other things, how are you going to be able to control it if you can't control that? And not saying if you can control that, you can control everything else, but you're learning how to discipline yourself and restrain yourself from something that you know that you want. But that doesn't mean that just because you want it don't mean that you need it, in a sense. You know, if you get what I'm saying. But like, another thing to do when you do feel lustful is to pray. You know, read the Bible. And God talks about lust in the Bible as well, you know, and it's not, that's why I say it's like, it's not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing either. If you don't know how to use it, it could be something bad to you. But if you do know how to use it, it could be something good to you. So it's all about what you make out of it, you know. But being lustful, especially in this day and age in this generation, it's messing up everybody, bro. Like, even myself, like, and there been times I've just been sitting on social media and all I see is girls this, girls that. I'm just like, dang, she good, look, you know, I want that. But in reality, how do I know what her true intentions is? So how could I really want something I don't know what's her true intention? Like, I know what genuinely I want, but in reality, if it's not a true energy, or like God's not saying that it's meant to be, then I'm not gonna go for it. And I used to do it all the time. Like, I used to hit girls up just to hit them up, text them because I was bored. You know, like, man, I done had my fair share with this lust, but it's like I'm tired of going through the same things and feeling the same way I've been feeling. That self-confliction for me is not, I can take it, but I don't like it. And me personally, I'm in that season of bettering myself, so it's like I have to stop doing things that I used to do that I used to think that was cool. You know, I remember growing up in school, like with my friends thinking that I said like the amount of bodies you have was like a good thing to have, or like used to be a thing in school, like to be proud of. But in reality, bro, it's really not, bro, because like all those bodies, or you having sex with all those different people, is you sinning over and over and over and over and over and over again. So in reality, you looking at it as good, but in reality, it's bad for real. You know, now if you're in a marriage, that's different, you know, because you're having with only one person. But if you're cheating and doing stuff that you know you don't need to be doing, and like, then that obviously marriage isn't for you, because marriage isn't about just like having sex and making kids. It's more about sacrificing yourself for the significant other, and the other is doing the same for you. You know, it's about building a partnership. It's about building a relationship, a foundation. You know, without no foundation, how can you build on top of whatever it is? Like, if you don't have a strong foundation, your house is gonna fall. You know, so it's in the sense of like that you gotta understand, if your foundation, your rock isn't there, everything else is gonna crumble. And at first it may seem like it's going good, but just like how it can be good, it can be bad too. And just like how it can be bad, it can be good. But you got to be the one willing to change it. You know, and that's why I say going to God about lust is the best way to do it. And like finding other videos on YouTube, like look up videos of like how to deal with lust. You know, like, because I'm still learning on how to deal with it. I'm not saying I'm fully done with it and things of that nature, but I've been on the point to like where I'm like, I'm trying to get somewhere in my life. And that was a big distraction from like females was a big distraction. I'm not saying it's still not, but I've been working on it, not like sitting on social media like just looking at girls and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of people out here that's doing even worse, you know, but a lot of times people don't know what they're doing. And if you don't know, how could you really blame a person? You know, like, still hold yourself to accountability. Like, I hold myself accountable for all my actions, but if I never knew, how would I know it was bad? How would I know it was good? You know? So until you have to seek, you gotta find what you need to know about it to understand if it's good or not. Because a lot of people look at it as like there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. Some people look at it as like they hate what they're doing, but they've been doing it for so long it became a habit. But you can replace a good habit with a bad habit, but you gotta genuinely want it. And if you genuinely don't want it, it ain't gonna happen, bro. And I'm gonna probably do a part 2 to this, so this is gonna be part 1. But like, yeah, man, bro, it's not easy, bro. It's an everyday battle, bro. It's gonna be an everyday battle. Like, there's gonna be some days you're gonna win, there's gonna be some days you're gonna lose. But the closer you get with God, He will help you win those days over those losses, you know. And to understand what a win is, you gotta understand what a loss is too, because a loss is not really a loss, it's more of a lesson. So you're gonna go through way more lessons then you probably will win, because you have to learn and understand what you're doing to yourself and to others, so you don't have to do it no more. A lot of people don't know what they're doing. They think they just going like they did. It's really not that, you know. It's really it's deeper than a physical standpoint. It's spiritual and mental. Like you do get like mental and spiritual conflict from that. Like, and there've been times where I done told myself I was gonna stop having sex with someone and continue having sex with them, knowing that I don't need to be having sex with that person, not to be having sex at all. And it's just like, bro, I can't catch myself relapsing. And then it's like I try to get in my word, and it's like, not that I can't get into it, but it's more like it's like confliction within myself. Like I don't feel worthy enough to even come back to God. But don't ever feel like you're never worthy enough to come back to God. You know, like there's gonna be times where you're gonna feel like you regret things. There's gonna be times where you feel like you didn't, but in reality, you're gonna regret it all in the end. So the best way to put it is work on withstanding your energy and use it in a positive sense. So when next time you get that feeling, do something you need to do or that you know you want to do. Not in the sense wanting to do with that person, but wanting to do in a positive output, bro. Because if you continue doing what you're doing now, you're just going to make it worse for yourself in the end. And who's to say how it is in the end? Because I'm not at the end yet, you know. But just going off of my personal experience, bro, it's just like, it's not a beautiful feeling when you wake up thinking the day is going to go great, but you're literally battling with yourself all day, but you don't even know where the confliction is coming from. And a lot of times that confliction be coming from lust, you know. And that's why I try to change the way how I look and view people, like especially like females, you know, like, because I'm thinking like, say for instance, I have a daughter, right? I wouldn't want no man looking at my daughter in a lustful way to just use her for sex and stuff like that, you know. So it's like, I try to look at it as if I wouldn't want it happening to my daughter if I was to have a daughter in the near future, or whenever, if God calls me to have kids, I should treat women and females how I would want my daughter to be treated. So if I don't want my daughter being used for her body and things of that nature, why would I use another woman or another female for her body? That's not cool, bro. Like, a lot of people think that's just cool. They thinking they're the man because they can get a female's body and then stop talking to them and make them feel like crap. And in reality, is not cool at all, bro. Like, it's some messed up people out here, bro. And I'm here to say, but that ain't cool, bro. Like, it's not at all. Like, if you thinking you got cool points for how many bodies you got or how you can do this and that with this amount of females in this and that time, like, bro, that's not cool at all, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like, and I ain't saying that to like down nobody, because I done been there, I done it. But I'm just saying, like, I done know how it feels to be on that other side of that self-confliction. But when you got confliction from God, it's different. You're gonna wake up feeling like you don't even know yourself no more. You're gonna wake up feeling like you don't even want to live no more sometimes. I'm not saying like you want to kill yourself, but it's just like, what's your reasoning for living? What are you here? What are you doing here? You know, and that's why I say, like, it's a big distraction that not a lot of people be talking about, bro. And I feel like this is something that more people should be talking about, because a lot of people don't know. And if you don't know, you can't blame them. But then again, you still shall seek and you will find. You know what I'm saying? You ask, you shall receive. So it's like, a lot of times people be asking for stuff and they will get it. But that don't mean that is what they're asking for is good. That's not the way to do it, bro. Like, you gotta ask for positive, you're gonna receive positive. You ask for negative, you're gonna receive negative. It's all about how you view things, bro. It's about your mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, bro, you can have somebody that's the one for you. You can have a good loving woman, a good loving man. But if you don't got the right mindset about it, you will lose that. And God will give you what you want, but he will also take it away too. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, people be asking for stuff, but don't even be ready to receive what they're asking for, because they got so many distractions, or they got so many mind blocks going on in their head. Their mindset isn't correct. So it's like, you could be asking for an increase of money, or in a sense, and if you can't handle or manage the money that you have now, how could you get that increase? It don't work like that. And it's just like, even with females, like, or males, you could be wanting to have a specific type of person that you want, but if you steady doing certain stuff with certain people, you're not going to never get it because you're not ready for it. And God is not going to give you nothing that you can't handle, but he's also going to test you to see if you can handle it before you even get it. You know, prayer is very powerful, bro. And it's just like you got to understand like what you're really doing to yourself, bro. You're hurting yourself in the long run, bro. You know, and like I say, man, I make these videos to inspire and motivate people and like just share my personal experience of what I deal with, you know. Like, and I know there's others out there that deal with it and deal with it way worse, you know, but I'm trying to help instead of hurt. I'm tired of hurting. And the only reason why I was doing what I was doing because I was hurt. Because I used to get hurt. I used to get cheated on. So I used to think what I was doing was cool. I used to thought I was winning. I used to think I was getting over it. But in reality, I was hurting myself really in the end, bro. And it's like, that hurt. I didn't, dog. I did not like that feeling, bro. Talking to multiple females, I used to think that joint was so cool. I used to think I was the man. But in reality, you're not the man. You're just showing how immature and childish you are, bro. Because when you genuinely want someone, not saying that everybody's going to be in a relationship, but people could be wanting a relationship, but they're not even right within themselves to be in a relationship, bro. And you got to learn how to find yourself to know what you genuinely want. You got to learn how to love yourself before you go love someone else. And a lot of times people don't even know how to love themselves, bro. And it's sad, but it's true, bro. Like, even myself, that's why I'm learning how to be myself, learn myself, learn what I genuinely want, what I genuinely like, you know, and that's it's an ongoing battle every day, bro. Like, there's some days I be like wanting to go watch it. There's some days I be wanting to go do this and want to go text this person, but in reality, bro, the end isn't better than the beginning, bro. So it's like if you prevent yourself in the beginning, bro, you're gonna feel better in the end. Trust. I'm telling you, like, ever since I done moved up here, bro, I haven't, you know, like, it ain't been the same. Like, my attention to females haven't been the same as it usually would have been if I was in Florida. Like, I used to always feel like I used to have to text a female. I used to always feel like I needed to be on the phone with a female, be around a female, or just, like, having females on my phone. But, bro, just, like, since I've been up here, bro, it's just, like, I've been wanting to be by myself, bro. Like, not saying I don't miss people and I don't like people, but it's just, like, I genuinely just been wanting to focus on myself because I've always been so distracted. I never took the time out to just genuinely focus on myself and see what I genuinely like, what I genuinely love. You know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully one day I can have a wife and have a family, you know, and that would be amazing. But, like, if I'm not working on myself and bettering myself to get to that point, it would never happen, regardless if I wanted it or not. You know, it's a lot of things people want in the world, but they don't be willing to put in the work to get it. And, like, what I like to say is, there's always more workers than bosses. Everybody want to be the boss, but they don't want to pay the cost to be the boss. So in that sense, like, if you don't understand what I'm saying, is like a lot of people want to have that boss factor or that boss mentality, but they don't be willing to put in the work to be the boss. So that's why you always want to see more workers than the bosses, because a boss got to lead. And if you can't lead, you're being led. So it's like you either going to be a leader or a follower, but you're going to follow something until you want to learn how to lead. So everybody's going to be a follower in a sense, regardless if it's bad addictions, good addictions. Like, it could be good followers and it could be bad followers, but you got to learn how to follow something good to lead good too, because you got to think, bro, it's a younger generation that's coming up. And I'm not saying that everybody is, but a lot of people are going to go through the same thing you're going to go through, or even worse. And what I like to say is, like, do you want them going through the same thing that you went through? Or would you help them so they don't have to go through that and learn from where you messed up at? You know, that's the whole point of having role models and having people ordering you and paying attention to people's mistakes, bro, because they're not telling you to try to control your life. They're telling you to save you for real, because they done messed up, you know. And, like, it's so wild, like, how the world is going now, bro. Like,